So Blender version 5.2 is just recently released, and in the update they have added a new thin wall feature to the principled shader node, which can be used to create transparent materials. So I just have a simple example scene right here with a monkey head, and I'm just going to add a new material. And so in Blender version 5.2, you can now see there's a thin wall, and if I hover over it, it reads a thin structure with the same material on both sides, useful for modeling thin objects such as window, paper, and leaves. So I'll start by making a basic glass material. So I'll turn the roughness down so it's very shiny, and then I'll open up the transmission and I'll turn the transmission all the way to 1. So I'm now going to duplicate this monkey head so we can compare it, and I'm going to click on this button to duplicate the material. Now what I'm going to do is turn on the thin wall, and immediately you can see quite a big difference. So this one here definitely looks like a heavier, thicker glass, whereas this one looks paper thin. Now I did add a solidify modifier to the glass, so the glass actually has some thickness, but I can actually remove the solidify modifier, and I can see it just looks even more thin. And if I take a look at the shadows of the monkey head, you can definitely see the shadow looks a lot different from the regular glass one, so there's a lot more light which is going through the material. Now to control the look of the thin wall, you can of course play around with the roughness value, so that's going to make the material look more rough. So now it just looks like kind of a white, kind of clear, slightly transparent plastic. Now what I can also do is turn the transmission down, but we can still use the thin wall with the transmission turned off. However, if I toggle this now with the transmission turned down, it doesn't really change anything. So the subsurface value also controls how the thin wall looks. So instead of using the transparency here, I'm going to use the subsurface, and I'm going to turn the subsurface up instead. And now you can see again, it kind of looks like a white plastic material. So if I turn off the thin wall, you can see it starts to look a little bit more waxy, and it looks a little bit more like skin because we have that subsurface turned on. And the subsurface is also heavily affected by the thickness of the object. Well, if I turn on the thin wall, it's treated as if the material doesn't have any thickness. Now when I turn on thin wall, you can see that the radius values are also grayed out. So instead of it using the red, green, and blue values to kind of make it look like skin, well, if I turn on thin wall, it disables the type of subsurface. It also disables the radius and scale. So I can now use the weight value to control the visibility of the thin wall. Now I can also use this anisotropy value, and so this is going to control how much light is allowed through the mesh. So if I turn the anisotropy way down, it almost looks like a thicker or more dense plastic, but if I turn the anisotropy way up, you can clearly see there's a lot more light going through the plastic. And I could also maybe turn the roughness down, so now it's like a really shiny, clear plastic. And I can also change the color a bit so you can see it a bit better. So let me just play around with the anisotropy value. So you can definitely see that really makes it look a lot more like a thin plastic. So playing around with the roughness value, the subsurface weight, and anisotropy are really great ways to change the look of the thin wall. So this new thin wall feature is definitely going to be really useful in my procedural material creation because I do create lots of procedural material. Now another really useful feature of the thin wall is to add it to organic objects like plants or leaves. So this is from my birdhouse nature tutorial series, and I'm just going to go to the shading workspace, and I'm just going to select one of the leaves. So back when I made this tutorial, to make it look like light is shining through the leaves, you can see what I did is I turned on the subsurface and just turned up the subsurface value, so you can see now it looks like light is shining through the leaves. Well, I could instead just turn on thin wall, and when I turn on thin wall, you can see there's all that nice bright light shining through the leaves. And then of course I can control the strength of it with the subsurface value. So if I don't want that much light to be going through the leaves, I could definitely turn it down a bit. And then of course the anisotropy to control how much light is allowed to go through the object. Now another great thing about the thin wall is that in certain cases the render times can be a lot faster. So here's the original render of my birdhouse scene, and then here it is with the thin wall. So before and after, before and after. So it looks slightly different. Of course, I could change the settings and kind of adjust it to try to make it look the same, but you can see the render time before was 17 seconds. I rendered this with 200 samples, and then here's after, and it's only 11 seconds. So per frame, that's 7 seconds faster. So using the thin wall makes the render time a lot faster in this scene. Now here's another example from one of my oldest tutorials on creating this fancy lamp. And you can see back when I made this tutorial, I mixed it with a translucent BSDF and a principled BSDF. But in Blender 5.2, instead of doing this setup, I'll just use thin wall. So I'm going to delete the translucent and delete the mix shader. So I could like try to turn up the subsurface weight, but if I turn up the subsurface weight, it kind of looks a bit waxy and it almost looks a bit like skin. Well, if I turn on the thin wall, you can see that it definitely looks a lot more like fabric. And so now it's allowing light to go through the fabric. So I can play around with the weight and then also the anisotropy. And I think that definitely is a big improvement. And here's the project files for my kitchen interior tutorial series, which I'll have linked in the video description if you'd like to check it out. And so in the tutorial, I wanted sunlight to shine through the window. But if I just use the glass shader and put that in the material output, you can see the light isn't actually going through the window. So I had to create this setup where I use the light path and a maximum, and then mix that with a glass and a transparent. So basically when the sunlight shines through, it's transparent for the light. Well, instead of using this entire setup, I could instead search for a principled shader, and I'll just put the BSDF into the surface. I'll turn the roughness down so it's shiny. I'll turn the transmission up so it looks like glass, and then I can just turn on thin wall, and you can see when I turn on thin wall, it allows the sunlight to go through the window. And in this case, because we're using the transmission, changing the subsurface weight and anisotropy doesn't affect the material, so if you are making glass, instead of using these values, you can just use that transmission weight. And for some scenes with lots of glass, this definitely could speed up your render times. So that's how to use the new thin wall feature, and it's definitely going to be a very useful feature for material creation. And if you'd like to learn about some of the other Blender 5.0 new features, then I also have a playlist where I cover the new Blender features. So I made a tutorial on the new compositing effects, the new bevel node in geometry nodes, and the new cloth physics with geometry nodes. And then before I close out the video, here's a quick trailer video about my kitchen interior course. In this Blender course, I will teach you photorealistic interior creation in Blender. So throughout this tutorial series, I'll show you the entire process of creating this realistic kitchen interior scene. So what will you learn in this course? You'll learn how to model to the real life world scale, how to block out interior scenes, you'll learn interior modeling like windows, cabinets, and countertops, you'll learn how to set up texture maps and edit the UV maps. You'll learn how to create basic procedural materials like brick, plastic, and metal, how to add surface imperfections to objects to add realism, how to add decals to objects within the materials, using multiple UV maps to place textures, decals, and surface imperfections. You'll learn furniture modeling like bar stools, an oven, a fridge, a microwave, and more. You'll learn object and prop modeling like mugs, plates, vases, switches, and more. And we'll be going over some compositing effects to add more realism to your render. And you can find the links to the course in the video description.